wrestling fans, and welcome to another edition of NBC's 10 Count. I am Steve Fall. On today's edition, it's a very special episode because I'm going backstage to a WWE live event, and I am talking with Drew McIntyre.
You know, we talked off camera about where you could possibly go. There are many places in Boston that you could celebrate a great night on Monday. Where would Drew McIntyre go if he had the time?
Drew McIntyre will make the time to go to Kowloon's. It's an awesome place in Saugus. I've been looking after WWE and wrestling in general for more years than I can count. I was 22 years old the first time I went there. Andy's awesome, and I can't wait to check it out again.
Tag teams. You've had a tag team with Dolph Ziggler in the past, but in current times, who would be your tag team partner if you could pick one?
Ooh, a tag team partner. I mean, we see that Sheamus and I like to beat each other a lot. beat each other up a lot. Easy for me to say. On WWE TV, we've known each other for 20 years. He decided to turn his back on me, got a little bit jealous. That's okay. And you see what we do to each other when we're not exactly on the same page. It's basically the same as what we did to each other when we were on the same page. You know, we're a bit crazy. Again, Celtics. And we know what it's like. Everyone in Boston, you have a few drinks, you fight your buddies.
What about you versus the APA?
They're tough.
Yeah.
Very tough. And I've spent time around both Bradshaw and Farouk, awesome guys. And I've been in some bars with them till about 6, 7 in the morning, try to keep up with them. I know what they're capable of, but unfortunately for them, it's Drew McIntyre and Sheamus that are going to win that one. We're just willing to go with that little bit further in a fight, a little bit dirtier. I'm not opposed to sticking a thumb right in that eye.
I almost thought you were going to stick your thumb in my eye. I was like, if you put your thumb in my eye, it'd actually probably go to the back of my head.
I'm saving my energy for tonight.
Oh, okay, good. I just want to make sure. You and the best in the world, Shane McMahon, once took on Undertaker and Roman Reigns at Extreme Rules. What was that experience like being in the ring when he comes down, the gong's going off?
Unbelievable. Something I've experienced before a couple of times, but in my early 20s. I remember I wrestled The Undertaker in the match before WrestleMania 27, I believe. No, 26 when he retired Shawn Michaels. Yes. And that was I was undefeated at the time. It ended my undefeated streak. I remember coming down to the ring. Taker was already in the ring. Generally, he would come down second, and you had to watch that entrance from the ring. And this was a very rare time where he made his entrance, and I walked to the ring. So as opposed to watching it from this angle, which I'm sure is terrifying. I mean, it is terrifying.
Right.
But at the time, I didn't know that. I was walking to the ring with him in the ring thinking, oh, he's not going to intimidate me with that entrance. But then I looked in the ring and saw him pacing around like a maniac. And I went, this is just as scary. The Undertaker's going to take me out. And at 24, he took me out. And then all those years later, you know, I had some time to grow as a performer, as a man, put on about 50 pounds. So I looked like a believable threat against them. And to have that match with myself and Shane McMahon against The Undertaker and Roman Reigns was very cool for myself personally, very cool for the fans, but also for The Undertaker. He just did a match that didn't go particularly well with Goldberg, unfortunately, and we wanted to show the world that The Undertaker was still as good as he ever was, and after that match, nobody was questioning that.
I agree, because there was a bit of a feeling amongst fans saying, oh, well, we love The Undertaker, but we didn't like what had just happened. But yes, it was definitely a better outcome with you and the best in the world, Shane McMahon and Roman and yourself, of course. But there are rumors running rampant online that you were supposed to fight Undertaker at WrestleMania at one point. Is this true?
I mean, you never know for sure, but I did hear it was a possibility. Things change a lot, obviously, when you've got multiple weekly television shows, 52 weeks a year. But at one point, I believe I was supposed to face The Undertaker at WrestleMania. That was a working idea, and things change a lot. It didn't materialize, and we got probably the best match of all time because it didn't materialize that year with Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. And, you know, he might be retired, but he's been retired a few times, and I'll still hold out hope that that match is still a possibility.
I will also hold on to that hope with you, because that, I think, to me, if Undertaker versus Drew McIntyre is at any event, doesn't have to be WrestleMania, Raw, SmackDown, anywhere, I think the tickets and the butts will be in those seats.
100%. And, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go on about it. If it happens, it happens. It would be a dream come true. For Undertaker versus anybody would be a huge deal. Undertaker just showing up would be a huge deal. But if I had the opportunity to be in one last program with him, just the history we've got together, he was legitimately my mentor from age about 22 to 25, being around him, learning from him, watching him, how he conducted himself as such a leader and such a force in WWE, having the match where he ended my undefeated streak, inevitably the tag team match where he got me again, so I owe him one.
So you're bringing up the past, and you said Undertaker was a big influence on you, and he helped you out. When you were a child, what was the moment that in your brain clicked and said, I want to do this for a living?
I don't remember the exact moment. My dad's the one that tells me about it, and I cover in detail in my book, A Chosen Destiny, available everywhere. But my dad always tells this story that I got a family meeting together when I was about 6 years old with my mum, my dad, and my brother, and told them I'm going to be a WWE wrestler, a professional wrestler when I'm older. And they were like, okay, that's cool, Drew. Because every kid says the darndest things.
Of course.
They want to be wrestlers or astronauts or ride Tyrannosaurus Rexes professionally. But
Can you do that?
Of course I can. That was the first thing I achieved. I did all of those things, but wrestling was the last thing. I started that when I was 15. But yeah, I never deviated from that plan since I was 6 years old. I meant it when I said it. I dreamed and dreamed and dreamed and kept looking for wrestling schools. And by the time I convinced my mother to let me travel to the wrestling school that was 12 hours from where we lived, 24-hour round trip, I explained to her, Mum, I am about 9 years behind schedule. I got to get on this. So I started wrestling at 15, stuck in at school the whole time, got my degree from university at 21. Wrestling was my part-time job. And I was very fortunate to be signed by WWE when I got my degree in criminology. Good timing.
Yeah, no kidding, right? So as a kid, I wanted to be a wrestler too. I didn't get as tall as you. Rick the Model Martel, though, was the man. When I saw him, 1990 Royal Rumble, his muscles were so large. I was like, I'm going to do that. My mom would say, well, you got to work out. And I said, I don't think I want to.
Wasn't it a glorious time if you're going to be Rick the Model Martel?
Well, you can spray the arrogance in someone's face.
Yeah.
And you have...
Also, when he sprayed like Jake the Snake Roberts right in the eye when I was a kid, man, that affected me. We should bring that storyline back, actually.
Well, you have a sword. You have a sword, and
have
people
a
have
sword,
eyes.
I'm still waiting to use it.
So...
Yeah. I mean, there's got to be a payoff for that sword eventually. We're a PG product. It's hard to pay off the sword bit.
You can do it off camera, you know.
There we go.
Yeah.
Happen in a bar, perhaps, in Boston tonight.
Oh, maybe a Kowloon's while someone was reading your book, maybe. I love it. Because, yeah, Macho Man, he was bitten by a king cobra.
He was, indeed.
And that was on camera. But, you know, there's certain times in wrestling now where people say, oh, well, we can't stab someone in the eye with a sword. And I'm glad we're at that point in time, because imagine if that happened.
Yeah, I mean, we could, but I don't know if it's the best
No.
representation for our company.
No.
We are a PG product, very proud
very
to
family.
entertain the youngest kid to the oldest adult. You know, we've got such a wide variety of fans, and you know, you don't have to go that far. If you want that, just turn on HBO or whatever.
Of course.
We'll bring the entertainment in many other ways, and then off screen again. If you're down at Calhoun's reading my book, you might see me swinging that sword around and use it.
I love it. I love it. So, you know, we talked about Brock Lesnar privately before, me and you defeated him, won your championship, and the empty arena. It was sad, but also very happy, because I remember being in my house. COVID was running rampant, and everyone was a bit upset, and you won the title. You put your hand to the screen, and I talked about it before. A huge, monumental moment. And again, could you explain what were you going for in that moment in time?
I didn't know at the time, because it was all real and it was organic. It wasn't planned. I just really wanted to thank everybody, and I didn't know how. I was in my own little world for a second when I beat Brock and I had the title. I was looking at it, getting a montage, 80s style, of all the moments and people in my career that have helped get me to where I was at, where I became WWE champion finally. But there was nobody screaming. The adrenaline wasn't through the roof. It was just a very private moment. Then I realized, oh yeah, there's Brock Lesnar lying there prone that I just beat. Oh yeah, there's millions of people watching. This is a WrestleMania main event. Even though they're not technically in the building, they're at home. And they're a big reason. And the number one reason that I became champion, I want to say thank you. And I crawled myself to the floor camera, like a camera station really here, and just reached my hand out and just said thank you. And I meant it right in that moment. I couldn't have meant it anymore. Thank you for choosing WWE during these difficult times. Thank you for choosing Drew McIntyre and rallying behind me over the past 5 months. That's the reason I'm champion, is because of the fans. And it was just a genuine moment where I said thank you that I assumed would have been edited off the show. And watching it live a week later, since it was pre-taped, I was very excited to see it in there. And it was special to me, and thankfully very special to people across the world, including yourself, telling me about it and responding to it.
Yeah, well, I was going to say thank you for your moment, because, again, all sports, all TV shows, the shutdown production, the WWE pushed forward and kept entertaining the fans like they always have for so many years. So I just want to say thank you to you for continuing with the entertainment.
It was our absolute privilege and honor, and we wouldn't have done it or been able to do it without the fans that have supported us the whole time, stuck with us. And if we were able to make some people smile during the most difficult of times, that's what our job's all about. And the older I get, You know, I was younger, I wanted to be champion and be in the ring every week and be part of the television show. When I get to do something truly special, like keeping people entertained during this pandemic, or working with a charity outside the ring, or becoming champion ambassador for Special Olympics, you know, that's pretty much how it is. That's some real stuff, and it means the world to me.
Thank you so much for your time, Drew.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you.
Thank you, wrestling fans, for watching a brand new edition of NBC's 10 Count. I've been Steve Fall, and thank you, Drew McIntyre, for not putting your thumb through my face. Have a good one, folks. Bye.